Welcome back to a late night episode of Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling. Should we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today? Where we'll be relaxing as per usual. There's no D&D for this week, which means that, you know, I'm not going to have a lot of conversational fodder, I think, when it comes to tomorrow and Monday, but I can say, Umumusme conversation, how do a champions meet go? I did make it to the A rank Group A finals, and I came in second. I didn't come in first. I expected to come in second, seeing as how my Group A qualifiers went. But good evening, everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 11:57 PM on Tuesday, August 26th, 2025. Happy birthday to someone. Rowan, probably. Or Audie, I can't remember. But yeah, I did expect it to happen because essentially for the qualifiers you need to get at least 3 wins to get to the finals, Group A finals, and I only ever got 3 wins. I think maybe I got a 4-win run, I can't remember, but it was very, very lucky 4-win run. And I basically scraped by, like, half my runs got 2 wins and the other half got 3 wins. So I guess it's Rowan's birthday, seeing as Audie you're out here. So I expected 2 wins, and I was like, it's possible I could come first, but I would need basically neither of my opponent to be like stand out amazing, which they're probably going to be if they made it to the A finals. And I came in second by like 2 lengths, so it was like a somewhat big size. And I looked at my opponent, and honestly their ugly cap was just cracked. It was incredible. I looked at it, I looked at the legacies, and I was like, the legacies have more white skill, like learned skills, than my gold chip does. Like each grandparent, I was like, okay, never mind, this person deserved to win, so I can't even be mad. I think it could have been possible, like maybe I could have won if I got a little bit luckier, because I got a late start on my gold chip, and then I got my new Narita Taishin got rushed, so she didn't proc her skill. But yeah, I don't know, it would have been like 2 lamps is like a lot to make up, to be honest. But we move forward, and we have the next Gemini Cup to be training for, which is going to be a very interesting one. I'm actually somewhat excited for it because it's very, it's like, the first one feels like a very sort of standard race, and the second one is very interesting. It feels almost like gimmicky because it's basically the longest run possible. So you need an absurd amount of stamina for it, and apparently 3 cold recovery skills is expected, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to make that happen. And then I figured that the only way I can make it happen is if I max potential both Narita Taishin and I'm so sorry, Phoebe, gold chip, which is possible. It just might be a little bit difficult. Actually, sorry, no, because Narita Taishin only has 1 natively. I don't know what I'm going to do, essentially. I don't know how I'm going to get a 3rd gold skill, but still. Why is this OBS mic not working? Did I unplug it? I hope not. I ended up having to no, it's not working whatsoever. Maybe I'll replug it then. I ended up having to stop using my wireless charging pad on my new phone, and the reason, there we go, it's working now. The reason is because I put a magnetic circle on the back of it to use in conjunction with my pop socket. A pop socket which is magnetic, so I don't have to use it all the time. That was it clicking on right now. I do prefer it on most of the time when I'm actually using it, but otherwise there's no need. So when I'm going out to places and I don't have a lot of space, and I don't bring it essentially. But I realised that as I was charging it on the wireless charging pad, the magnet was heating up like massively, because the wireless charging pad of course uses induced electromagnetic fields to induce a current, and that's inducing it in the metal ring. And I basically touched my phone and went, whoa, my phone is scalding hot at the moment. I touched the pad and it was like, whoa, this is even hotter. And then I thought about it, I looked it up, and I was like, oh, it's probably because of this metal ring, so I'm no longer using this. I'm sorry to say. I can use it to charge my other phone, to be fair. I am actually dual wielding for phones, and it is somewhat okay. It's very interesting, is what I'd say. But probably the bigger issue is I don't have enough USB slots on my computer to actually charge, have a charging port for both. So I guess we just sort of have to rotate in and out, which is fine because I'm only using one actively at one time. It's a very weird situation having two phones essentially. I still haven't got a refund yet from Google. I followed up with a message today in the morning along with another sort of delivery which I've yet to receive from another thing, from another retailer. I don't think either replied, annoyingly. Nope, neither replied, so I'm just sort of here being like, okay, alright then. I guess I'll just not get my stuff, huh? It is rather frustrating, I would say. But, you know, I just gotta keep going until eventually I get responses, my understanding. Or open up another ticket, but I feel like opening up another ticket is gonna cause even more issues. But yeah. There's that. And then what? I don't know what else to talk about. I don't really think there's any more sort of generic stuff. I can either continue talking about the wireless charging part, which I'm not going to, or I can think about another topic to speak about from the board game convention we went to. I'll choose the board game convention because it's a bit more fun. I'm trying to think what to speak about, though. Like, what sort of cool things did I see? Sorry, little pause. But yeah, looking at the photo album, I was also going to record some Happy in Paradise today, but it's a bit late now, isn't it? So I guess I have to do it tomorrow. And I have to record how many episodes? 1, 2, 3, 4. At least. Maybe 5. I could do 4 in a day. That's not too crazy, I don't think. Maybe. But yeah. What can I talk about? The thing is, we didn't take many photos of things. I can talk about the things I bought. I guess for little like trinkets and souvenir things. I'll start with probably the less interesting ones, which are interesting to me, but like they're quite standard. Like I bought some. There was a store which did like these cute earrings and trinkets. I don't really know what it had to do with tabletop role playing, to be honest. Some of them like did, like there was a little like dice thing, like you could get a necklace and you could put a D20 in it as a dice, and I was like, that's kind of cool. Like conceptually, I would never wear it, but cool conceptually. I liked that they also had like this chain link sort of like dragon worm thing. I thought that was kind of cool, but I was also like, I'm not sure where I'd put it, and I kind of prefer soft flashy things. But then they also just like sold like nice necklaces and accessories. So I bought some very simple earrings, which are basically like little paw print ones, which I guess match with these sort of paw print phone straps I have. And then I bought a nice little necklace which has this sort of like, I'm not sure how to describe it. It looks like an oil slick sort of glow, but it's like a heart with like devil horns and wings, I think. And I was like, that's a fun sort of necklace, let's get this. What else did I buy? I also bought oh, I actually got 2 very cool things. One of them was basically like a dragon, like a pendant, which had like a dragon sort of design on the front, but basically what's kept inside is basically a load of mini die. So if I don't know, if I guess I need a set of die on a go, I could just bring this little thing along. They genuinely are mini die though, so like literally the entire set could probably fit on my thumb, is probably how small I would say they are. But I mainly bought it because I thought the pendant looked kind of cool, to be honest. But the actual like very cool thing is this store was selling like these dice cubes where each face of a die was a different dice. Like one was a D20, D4, D6, 8, 10, 12. Wait, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 20. And then the D10 doubled up as a D100 as well. And basically it was like in each of the cubes inset had like a circle which like rotated like frictionlessly, and in doing so you could basically roll the dice with it. And I was like, the first thing I said when I looked at it, I was like, that's really cool. And then I sort of reflected, being like, I don't know if I should buy this though, because I'm like, what am I going to do with it? But then I saw one of the colour schemes and I was like, that colour scheme is really, really cool. I dig that entirely. And a friend bought one as well, so you know, I've got one too. They said it's a very good sort of like fidget cube thing to play with, and I definitely can see it. It's basically kind of like a fidget spinner, I suppose, but a cube. I just kind of bought it more for the aesthetic. I don't think the colour scheme I bought was particularly practical for dice, because it's quite difficult to read. But I just kind of liked the vibe of it. But my friends, they bought more board games stuff. I didn't really buy many board games, mainly because one, I'd have to bring them back, and two, I do have a decent amount of board games from my friend group, like within my friend circle, so I often do bring them. But I'm also like, apart from that, I don't really play board games all that much, surprisingly. As I said before, I like the conceptual design of I like board game design more than perhaps I like playing some board games. Not that I dislike playing board games, I'm just like, the design of them, I'm just like, yes, that's cool, I like that. But essentially there was like this auction like thing, where, oh, there was another thing, like there was one place where people could like drop off their second-hand board games and people could pick them up. My friends really wanted to get Wormspan, so we basically bought that. Turns out it was cash only though, and we had exactly enough cash to buy it and nothing else, so we didn't buy anything else there. I was going to buy a different game, I can't remember what it was though. Like, I basically 100% I buy the board games off the aesthetics alone, unless I literally know what the board game is. And the board game I looked at, I can't even remember what it was about now. It had some anthropomorphic animal characters, which is the only reason I looked at it, and then I was like, that was actually a cool concept, so when I bought it. But I genuinely cannot remember what it's called. Board game with is not Root. Like, Root is a great game. I love it from a conceptual design perspective. I generally don't remember what it's called. It had like I feel like it had a reasonably cartoony style, and I also looked at it and was like, I've never heard of this game before in my life. I actually never heard of most of the games before in my life, to be honest. Let me see, is it here? It's not History. History was a different one, but it was basically like an auction, sort of, where they were basically giving out games, and then one of my friends wanted to buy a game, I can't remember what it's called, like Nice Buns, I think, but Nice Potato Games, or Big Potato Games, or whatever they're called, and there was basically a deal for like 2 for £10, and we were like, okay, if we see another game we like, we'll buy it. And then I saw the game History, and I was like, this is basically Disney anthropomorphic animal characters, like, of course I'm going to buy this aesthetically, this is like right up my alley. I looked at the game otherwise and I was like, okay, it looks like a fine game. Like, looking at it mechanically, and like the parts of it which I think are kind of cool, like I like the stage element. It's sort of basically like a, you know that game in Mario Party where it's like there's 4 donuts, 2 donuts and 1 donut, and then you blindly pick one, and if 2 people pick the same thing you crash and no one gets anything. So it's all about trying to pick something which other people don't pick. It's kind of like that condensed in a game. I don't think it necessarily looks bad, but I don't think it's like I'm looking at it being like, wow, what a crazy, awesome, jumping out of my seat sort of game. But I just kind of like the vibe of it. And I think some of the cards in it, some of the card arts are like really good, and some of them are like, the art is all genuinely really good, I would say. It's just some of the designs are very strange. But they do a thing which is very classic, I think, where it's like, how do we make a female looking character? Well, of course we give them, you know, if they're anthropomorphized, whatever, give them like an overly feminized body, shall we say. But then it's like, let's give them ridiculously long eyelashes, and then tiny waist, and then big, like, juicy red lips, which I personally don't really love the look of on anthropomorphic animals. I think it looks strange a lot of times, perhaps due to the fact that animals don't have lips. But some of the designs are really good. Like, they had some pretty good like female designs. Like, I liked the governess character. It was like a turkey. She was like some old woman. I was like, wow, like pretty good. But yeah, They do the thing where the male anthropomorphic animals look like animals, but the female ones look like humans with like animal face paint on. I also think it's a French game as I understand it, which maybe that says more than anything needs to be said. What was my favourite art in the game? I think it was, I can't remember, it was like the treasurer or something. It was like a little squirrel with just like a great sort of sneaky expression on. Anyway, that game was called Histrio, if you want to look it up. And yeah, I think the stage element of it actually genuinely looked pretty cool. I don't know how fun, of course, the game is to play, but who knows? But what was that other game I saw? I saw it and I was like, you know what, I'll pick this up, why not? I'm at a board game convention, it'd be weird if I didn't pick up a board game. But I generally can't remember what it was called. Nor do I really remember what it looked like. It's not really that big a deal because I did look at it and was like, that looked like an interesting mechanic. But other than that, I was like, oh, you know, when I found out it was cash only, I was like, oh, I can't actually buy this. And I was like, well, whatever. I'd rather my friends get Wormspan. Because Wormspan is based on Wingspan. And Wingspan, I'd not actually played before. And I'll talk about it, I suppose, another time. But Wingspan, I actually really like the concept of, I think, as a game. And then I played Wormspan for the first time with my friends. Spoilers, didn't win. Mainly because, to my friend's credit, she is very good at board games, but also to my friend's discredit, maybe she got insanely lucky. I also got pretty lucky. I feel like I played pretty well, but like there was no topping the insane turn that she got. Not to her discredit, she probably would have won, or had a very good chance of winning, even if that didn't happen, but still. And it was really surprisingly close. I think it was like 9 points in it. And we both got like 100 and something points, which is, you know, not too bad considering it was the first time I ever played that style of game. I have no idea what the game is called though, the one I saw. I don't even remember what like the mechanics were for it. I just looked at it and was like, this looks kind of cool. I'm just scrolling now through board games with anthropomorphic characters. Maybe like tabletop game, I should say. Anthropomorphic animals. Because it's not, I don't think it was like an RPG like system. Was this it? Familiar Tales? It doesn't look right. No, I don't think so. No, it doesn't look right. I need to see the back of a box. For some reason, I feel like I remember more than the front of a box. Because it had, like, a lot of these anthropomorphic animal games always like sort of like woodland aesthetic, right? And there's always like a woodland war or something going on. I mean, like Root or Mellow. Was it Evertail? I can't remember what it's called. Everdell, sorry. I genuinely cannot remember what it's called. I'm looking. I'm scanning all of these, but none of these look right. So it must have been some very obscure game, probably. I mean, Histrio was also quite obscure, I suppose. So maybe that shouldn't be too surprising. I think a bigger thing is I can't really remember what it looked like. The art for it. Like, I kind of remember bits and pieces of it, but probably not enough to, well, remember its name in the slightest. As soon as it was like, couldn't buy it, it was like, well, out of sight, out of mind, you know? Yeah. What am I going to say now? Alright, no, I guess that's kind of it. So, I'll round this episode up here. I don't really know what I spoke about, to be honest. What did I speak about? Little trinkets, I guess. If you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time. Bye-bye for now.